Hey, good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour live on this Monday. Halloween is coming a couple of days. Get ready for all the trick-or-treaters. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what. I actually like Halloween. I do. I like it when they come up and you see all the different costumes and all of those things. And I'm one of those guys where if you show up and you don't have a costume or no candy for you. Yeah. Some of these older kids are they get a little questionable as they get older. You know, they just want as much candy as quick as they can. Yep, but I'm firm on that. So of course now we got the two puppies. Every time that doorbell rings, they're just going to go nuts. So maybe I'm not going to like it as much. But anyway, I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Good morning. Another gorgeous day here in the Valley of the Sun. The weather here, I know it gets hot, and it does. I'm telling you, and this summer was maybe the worst in a long time because it was hot and humid. And humid here is 30%. But 6 months out of the year, you just cannot beat it, and it is here, and we are loving it. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. The website at allamericangold.com. And what do? Wealth insurance. The physical delivery of gold and silver. And really, it's actually very simple. It is exactly what we say. When we say it's wealth insurance, you just take some of what you've worked so hard for, and you put it into something that isn't a debt. Right? When you buy stocks, when you do your 401k, when you do your IRAs, your money markets, your mutual funds, they're all debt instruments. All of them. The CD at the bank, same thing, debt instruments. You take a little bit and you put it away where only you know where it is. And, of course, when you think about the last week and a half, you see the logic in it, right? Because you got to remember what the debt markets are really based upon. The full faith in credit, and not just of our government, right? The Italian government, right? The Japanese government, the Chinese government. You get the idea, right? That's all fiat money. Didn't used to be that way, right? Our founding fathers, I know those crazy old guys, they wanted the money to be gold and silver because they didn't want what is happening today, which is what happens on the bankers can't help themselves. Think about this. We gauge our economy as whether it is good or bad by how much more debt we take on. Right? When you think about GDP, the parts of GDP that actually grow, there's consumer spending, but when you factor in, how much of that consumer spending is borrowed money? Right? We know the government, right, they borrow $8 trillion. Well, more than that, but let's just say $1 trillion, isn't that enough? Actually, it's not. Not to mention what the states and the cities and the counties, right? Everybody's borrowing, and we call it growth. Look how good we are. And that always works for a little while. And, of course, we've got the central bankers, right? Oh, bless them. Aren't they great? They're just so awesome. And they care so much about us. Jay Powell is really concerned about the working man out on the street. Okay, I hope you can the sarcasm, right? He doesn't give two you-know-whats about the working man on the street. He doesn't. You know what he cares about? Bankers. Right? That's his main priority. And think about what he does. And think about what they do. And And again, remember, it's not just here. Nope, because of this great new global economy that we're kind of regretting now, aren't we? But when you think about what are the trade wars with China, well, what I want them to be really about, and of course what they are actually about, a little different. But why is it that a lot of Americans regret NAFTA and GATT? And the answer really is simple, right? They wanted NAFTA and GATT, not so the worker in Detroit, not for the worker in Cleveland, Ohio, not for the worker in Alabama or California or Colorado or Arizona. They didn't care about any of us. It was so Citigroup and J.P. Morgan, right? So they could give debt to the Chinese. I mean, really, at the end of the day, without the bankers, that deal never happened. Right? The General Motors and Ford and you think about all these companies like Cross-Heinz and Syracuse. And I was talking to, I probably don't have time for it. I was talking to a customer last week. And somehow we got talking about electrical companies. And he was talking about companies in Colorado that had disappeared. Cross-Heinz was a huge employer in Syracuse. Carrier air conditioning, huge employer. That was, by the way, Syracuse, town I grew up in. NAFTA and GATT allowed those companies to leave. But it was the bankers that made sure it happened. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. We got this election, I guess the non-presidential election cycle. People talking about, will the Democrats get the House? Will they get the Senate? Tomorrow, I'm going to have the Center for Arizona Policy on the air. And I know that this is Arizona related, but this really transcends to every state. No matter where you're from, it's fascinating what has happened to this political environment now. When you think about the politicians and you think about what I just said, okay, they measure growth by debt, right? They don't care how much you had to borrow, as long as you're still able to. The only time they get worried is when you're not able to borrow it anymore. You get so much debt and you get it so piled up that you can't pay. Kind of what's happening now. I mean, they don't want to admit it yet, but that's what's happening. People are getting tapped out again. But you think about the trade-off that we made. And I say we, the people that we elected, and why I'm so adamant about we need term limits. How did we get here? How did we get to NAFTA and GATT being good ideas? How did we get, when you think about go all the way back to the 70s, the alleged greatest country in the history of the world hasn't run one, not a single trade surplus since the early 70s. Since we did what? What did we do? What could it have been? How did this happen? Oh, that's right. We did something really stupid. We decided that the founding fathers, while very, very smart about all the other things, didn't know what they were talking about when they said that they wanted the money to be gold and silver. Really, we would have known that in the 30s, but we had World War II. Got a reprieve. All of a sudden, we haven't run a trade surplus again. Never. We haven't run a budget surplus. And no, Bill Clinton didn't run a budget surplus. Sorry, he didn't. Why? Because they spent all that money that they alleged that they had. talking about the trust funds of Social Security and Medicare. Never, not once. You know, most people don't realize, even during the Depression, we ran a bunch of surpluses. I mean, they weren't big, but they were there. I mean, really, think about it. We didn't really have debt. This country was founded on the principle of no debt. The only time the country really ran debts, war. And then guess what we did right after the war ended? We paid it off. Well, most of it anyway. And how did it happen? It's the same way. How did we get this central bank? Right? And of course, if you're really into this stuff, if you've never read The Creature from Jekyll Island, you need to do it. Fascinating. And it's very similar to today. Right? They met in secret. Who? Bankers. Right? People that wanted something from the elected officials. Essentially, they set up a lobby group, if you will. And they bought their way in. Got their people elected, got their people put into power. And before anyone knew what happened, we got a central bank again. Right? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Right? They blame the Knickerbocker crisis of 1907 as the reason, right? Of course, didn't matter. Just like the Great Depression, they used that as the reason for confiscating gold and silver from the masses. Do you know how many Americans don't know that you could not own gold as an American citizen from 1933 to 1971? Wasn't allowed. Why? They wanted you to get used to fiat money. And we did. Right? Because it was good. It feels good, doesn't it? Feels good to spend more than you have. Right? Because you wanted something. And, well, saving for it, well, that's no fun. I don't want to save. Just put it on a credit card. You know, and all of us, think about how much more expensive everything's gotten. Yeah, okay, maybe the bedrooms are bigger now. And yes, maybe we've got 2.5 baths instead of 1. But a brand new house, a nice one, in 1971 was like $20,000. Now you can buy I don't want to call it what it is, but you can buy a postage stamp, stick a house on it for about $300,000 if you're lucky. That's if you're lucky. Okay, so yes, you're right. The rooms are a little bigger, and you got 2.5 more baths. That worth $300,000 more? You could go to Harvard. Room, board, tuition, all of it $4,000. I don't even want to. I'm scared to find out. I'm going to guess 80. Now it's $80,000. That sound worth it? Back in 1971, you went to work for your company. You were working full time. Health insurance, free. It was free. Didn't pay anything. Company paid for it. You also got a pension. Now, most people don't even get that. No, nobody gets a pension anymore. Well, there's a few people. Not many. Government workers. But don't worry, they gave you that great 401k. Isn't it wonderful? But you think about, how did that happen? Who in their right mind would vote for something like that? And, of course, you know what happens is, right, we've got all of these quote-unquote special interest groups. When you sit there, and I know all of you are as nauseated as I am about all these commercials. I mean, they're everywhere. TV, radio, internet, and you can't miss them. It's this special interest group and that special interest group, and most of them are really disgusting. But they vote for them because you know why? The people that put the money up to get these guys elected tell them to. And I want to believe that they lie to them just like they lie to us. You know, how did you ever ask yourself how all of these states' pensions are just a train wreck? And I don't care what it is. Even the best one's a train wreck. Do you know how that happened? And all of them really go right back to the dot-com bubble, because that's really when they all renegotiated. It was the Wall Streeters told all the cities and the state, oh, no, just give your money to us, and don't worry, we're going to get 8% a year for you. It's going to be plenty of money. I mean, I know we're not at all-time highs right this second, but even down 24,000, that's not enough. I mean, the Dow right now, it has to be like 100,000 for that to be true. It's not. They lie. And we end up with stuff like NAFTA and GATT. We end up with almost, 1.6. The real deficit last year was $1.6 trillion. I hate to tell you, the real deficit this year. Remember, 2019, this is the first month of 2019, as far as the federal government's budget is concerned, going to be $2 trillion. How? Every single time. You know, and it's funny, you think about all of the people, it's from the central bankers to the elected officials. As soon as they're no longer running for office, all of a sudden they seem to have a huge change of heart. That's why we need term limits. Hey, 2 times. That's enough, 2 times. And after that, you got to go. Let somebody else have a term. Right? Because then, at least, once you got elected for the second time, you know, you're a senator, it's 6 years. At least the second 6 years, I might as well vote for, okay, enough with the BS. I'm not running for re-election. NAFTA and GATT are a terrible idea. Right? Hey, I don't know, maybe we should vote for less government. How about that? Well, I don't want to do that. I want to win a re-election. Spend all you want. I don't know. What do I'm just a fat guy with a microphone. 800-951-0592. We have another. And we've been killing it. The last 6 weeks have been some of the best specials we've ever done. And we've got another one for you. It's not a big one again. These are leaving the Delaware Depository today. Wendy was on the phone with them this morning. We've got 20 1 ounce American Gold Eagle proofs. Now, again, proofs, for those of you that don't know, okay, the government creates a limited amount of these coins every year. Matter of fact, when you go to the U.S. Mint website, these are the only coins you can buy from the Mint. But they don't sell regular gold eagles to the public. They don't sell regular silver eagles to the public. They only sell proofs. And in the proofs, they give them an extra stamp, if you will, right? So when they're in the minting process, they strike the proof several times to make it look even more distinguished. And they come out and they have a nice little special coating that they put on it. And then they put it in this pretty blue box. And inside the pretty blue box, they put a certificate of authenticity. And it tells you, what it is and all that great stuff and a number and blah, blah, blah. Right? All the fancy schmancy stuff that you can possibly do. To give you an example, on the U.S. Mint website this second, a 1-ounce American Gold Eagle is $1,540. Okay? So we have 20 of these on their way to us as we speak. Somebody's at the depository right now digging them out. Not with a shovel. They go into the vault and they got to find them. You're not going to believe what we sell them for when we return.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily commentary continuing the conservative pro-family legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
As the question of stricter gun control ricochets back and forth in American politics, some commentators claim that completely eliminating access to firearms would drastically reduce the amount of violent crime afflicting our neighborhoods, especially poor ones. Conversely, Second Amendment advocates warn that such measures would result in no change or even negative results. In the United Kingdom, the British have already decided to pursue aggressive gun control for decades, so it's worth examining their outcomes. Under UK laws, self-defense is no longer a societal concept, and anything planned to be used in that capacity is strictly prohibited. Even colored dye spray used to mark an assailant can be considered a weapon if the victim sprays it in the attacker's eyes, because it was used intentionally to cause that injury. Ludicrous as it may sound to our American ears, British gun control has advanced to object control. In the early 20th century, the English homicide rate fell well below the current rate without modern gun and knife control. Now, in recent years, the British people are witnessing rising violent crime. Yet in response, many local politicians and academics petition for more restrictions, including on pointed kitchen knives. However, the increase in crime can be connected to the proliferation of gangs and the narcotics market that fuel them. The British Home Office reports that from 2014 to 2017, the proportion of homicides involving drugs increased 50%, while non-drug-related homicides decreased. Nevertheless, the simple idea of less weapons, less crime continues to clench British consciousness. An effective answer to the problem of violent crime is to attack the underlying reasons for it. In both the United States and the United Kingdom, children from unstable homes are much more likely to commit a crime than children from stable two-parent homes. Phyllis Schlafly always knew and said that the positive benefits of wise parental influence and guidance on children is absolutely invaluable. Without it, the nuclear family and society along with it will collapse. We would do well to identify and change the motives and remove the evil, not just blame and ban tools.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report with Ed Martin, president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. It's time to hear the truth, not the media lies, about gun rights. At phyllisschlafly.com, we've got strategies to protect American citizens, protect ourselves, and protect the Second Amendment. For the latest on the constitutionally protected right to bear arms, go to phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592. Again, talking about the great opportunities that we've been able to bring to all of you. This, we get these opportunities. We've been doing this a long time. 23 years, complaint-free. Why? Because we don't make it complicated. We don't run all the games. There's no bait and switches and no free reports, and we don't have a bunch of people, used car salesmen, that call you up day after day, week after week, month after month, trying to sell you stuff. When you talk to us, you don't feel like you need to take a shower because it's simple. run specials. That's what we want you to buy. Why? Because we think it's the best thing we got. Right? Our big sales tactic is the big question: how many would you like? Right? And everybody that you listen to, right? Here's our big thing: you call the number. I know you got to call. This isn't an item we normally carry, so you can't get this one online. This is a phone call only deal. I promise you, it's so easy. You just call us up and you say, today, Wendy's working today. Wendy, I'd like the special. I know. Hard, right? You're ready for the high-pressure sales tactics? Yeah. How many would you like? And then you just tell 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be. And she's going to tell you how much it is. And then she's going to ask you another tough question. How would you like to pay for that? Right? If you can come into our offices here in Phoenix or in Colorado and pay cash and pick them up there. You can write us a check. You can put it on a credit card. Now, all of you know. So don't be surprised. Right? Everybody's got the credit card, and they all want the miles. I want miles. I love miles. Miles are great. But just know this. We're the ones that pay for the miles. Visa and MasterCard and Discover. What a great... I'm in the wrong business. What a great racket. They give you all that free... So you earn miles and double miles and triple miles. The businesses that take the credit cards pay for the miles. So if you want to use a credit card, you got to pay a credit card fee. Otherwise, write us a check. Like I said, if you want to pay cash, you can do that too. That's it, right? If you're not, you got to pick up. Obviously, we're going to take your name. Yeah, got to have that. Got to have your name. Got to have your address. We got to make sure you're not a terrorist, right? That you're not going to do evil things with your gold. And then we ship it to you, or you pick up. If we ship to you, it's $35. Sorry, and all of you know we're not lying. Just registered insured alone, $20. Then you got to put the value, right? So the more it is, the more it costs. The weight, the more it weighs, the more it costs, right? The boxes. Do you know the boxes now? Here's what's hilarious about the boxes. They used to be so cheap, number one. But now the shipping costs as much as the boxes themselves. I can't make it up. The boxes, the tape, all that stuff, the labels, this and that, it's all in there. I don't need to explain, but that's what it's for. That's what the $35 is for. That's all it does. Just covers cost. So we're talking today about these Proof Gold Eagles. You can go out to the U.S. Mint website. You can pay $15.40 if you'd like. I've got 20 at $13.25. 800-951-0592. That's a Proof Gold Eagle, cheaper than a regular Gold Eagle, which that doesn't happen ever. It's cheaper than a $20 gold piece, which that's happened before because a lot, when gold was $1,900, $20 gold piece was like $2,400. So 1 ounce Proof Gold Eagles, they're $1,325. That's what, $215 below the U.S. Mint's website at 800-951-0592. If you want to use a credit card, you can. Get all the miles you like. $13.50. And again, I'm actually, just so you know, I actually lose a little bit on that deal. That's only 2% instead of 3%. So $13.50 on a credit card. We take them all. Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex. For $13.50, if you send us a check or you pay in cash, $13.25 at 800-951-0592. So remember, tomorrow we're going to have the Center for Arizona Policy on, talking about this election cycle. It really gets me going. Because The reason why we're $22 trillion in debt, the reason why we haven't run a trade surplus in almost 50 years, the reason why we haven't run a budget surplus in the same amount of time is because the special interests, the ones with all the money, right, they bought them off. And I know, listen, everybody thinks they're going to be the maverick, and you elect me, and I'm not going to take a cent from special interest and all that mumbo jumbo. Doesn't work that way, right? When you get up there, you find out real quick. Hey, I got no chance. If I actually voted for what was good for the American people, we'd literally not pass a single bill. They don't even write the bill. Most of the people, they don't even read them. Right? It's actually mind-blowing that you sit there and you think to yourself, they don't even read the bill? No! Have you seen these bills? I wouldn't read them. They're just loaded with pork, and then you don't vote on one thing. Right? It's not like you just vote on that. No, the bill's got 48 other things with it. And as long as they got one here, we got a little carrot in there for you, Arizona. Or, hey, here's a bridge to nowhere, Alaska. And here's this, Colorado, right? Throw it all in there to get stuff done. And this is why we're here. How did this central bank get all this power? Right? Think about how they set it up. We need to be independent. Says who? Wait, your banker buddies? Go figure. Who would vote for that? Nobody. Wait a minute. You want to be in charge of the currency and the economy? Right? Think about their mandate. Stable dollar and full employment, and now apparently plunge protection key, right? Right, stock market protector of all, bond vigilante, you name it, they're in charge of all of it. And somehow, by raising or lowering rates a quarter of a point and putting some fancy words around it, says that they're able to do so. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Once again, I don't know if the mic's broken, but I haven't sold one yet. I've got 20 proof 1 ounce gold Eagles at $1,325. That's cheaper than a regular gold eagle, cheaper than a 20. It's the cheapest ounce of gold I got. Big gold's what, $1,230, $1,231? And you're going to buy a proof gold eagle for less than $100 over spot? It's incredible when you think about it. Go to the Mint website, they want $1,540 for the same exact thing. 800-951-0592. The Dow was up big this morning. It was up 300. It's now only up 100. The Nasdaq's gone negative. I don't know. There was some personal spending numbers out that weren't great. Again, consumers, the big pay raise isn't materializing, and the spending, even the spending, which we've had really good consumer spending, even that's starting to wane, at least here in that report. So we'll have to see. We do have the dollar's up again today, right? More bad news for these corporations as we get into this. But you start thinking about how. I mean, it's common sense. We've had 50 years of debt. It's the biggest bubble of all time. Now we're sitting there and we're running these numbers, and again, and I swear I think they just make them up. 2% inflation. Right? They just made that up. Somebody, we did a bunch of research. We put a bunch of charts and graphs together and got a bunch of data, and we came up with that number. Of course, now what are they saying? These people that don't need any supervision, right? Because they lobbied it for that way. I mean, even now when they talk about it, you would swear that you're asking for hell to freaking rain down on us if we supervise the Fed. Heaven forbid we just audit them. What? No, hey, that's none of your business. Don't worry about what we're doing over here. Right? Just an audit. Hey, where's all that money going? Who are you giving it all to? What else are you doing? Exactly. Right? The American public, we have a right to know. At least we used to. Right? The only places you don't have rights to know is like communism, right? Stuff like that, right? Same thing. And now we're sitting here and you're trying to figure out what's going to happen. We got to be a rocket scientist. Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. What's happening right now? Countries are starting to hemorrhage. Right? Central bank. Think about what our central bank did. They blew up their balance sheet. They bought $4 trillion worth of debt. How did they get $4 trillion? They didn't have $4 trillion. They just made it up because we wanted to save everything. And of course, now they've sold off a couple $100 billion, and already, right? We're starting to have trouble. We're starting to have a little. Oh, hey, Trump's firing off, and people are Kramer. Everyone's like, the Fed's got to stop. The Fed's got to stop. Like the Fed has power that somehow, we say it's okay. They've never gotten it right. The only thing they've done is what? Make it bigger. Why was gold $35? Why is it now $1,230? Did the gold change? Did something happen to it? Did the house change? Yeah, okay, maybe you got another bathroom. The room's a little bigger, that's it. Oh, I know, the automobile, because now it's got a mirror, right, in the dashboard. Right? So when you back up, you don't have to turn your head, apparently. Or it beeps at you. Beep, 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 beep. Because let's face it, we are too stupid to be able to judge distance before. Right? And somehow they took something that used to cost $1,000 and it now costs $50,000. And they tell you there's no inflation. Matter of fact, and I'm not making it up, according to the Federal Reserve, there has been zero inflation in the price of a new car. Well, they only go back 15 years. That's the other thing. Let's just go back 15. That's plenty. That's our baseline. Zero. Yeah. You're like, well, wait, but I go to the car dealership, it costs me, and most people, you're like me, hey, I try to go 7 to 10 years now because I can't afford cars. You show up 7 years later, and the cost of the car is like, what? And they'll say there isn't any inflation. Oh, it's only gone up like 20% in the last 30 years. It's because we allow them to do whatever they want. And eventually what happens? Well, let's go to history. You see, and this is the funny part. People think this has never been done. There's been plenty of central banks. There's been plenty of fiat currencies out there. And they have a perfect track record. I'll tell you what that record is. Final segment, Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. We got 3 lines open. Proof 1 ounce American Gold Eagles. their website. They sell Proof Gold Eagles. They're $1,540 from the government. When you call Patriot today, I don't have 20 now. I don't know exactly how many I have left, but there's 3 lines open. 1325. If you want to use a credit card, $13.50 at 800-951-0592. Gold's down 5 right now, 1227. The Dow, I don't even know what I'm looking. I don't see what's the cause of it. The Dow now getting ready to go negative. Was up 300 points earlier this morning. The Nasdaq has gone negative. The S&P still up 12. I don't know. I don't see any big headline. I do know the dollar is stronger today, and I don't know why either. Angela Merkel, she may be out of power. Maybe that's why the euro is slipping. Again, this is all of these things, right? When you overprice, when you misprice debt. First of all, when you create as much debt as they have, and then you misprice it, which is what the central bank did, this is what happened. Eventually, the markets go back to what it's really worth. After the debt cycle wears off, after the sugar high, right, they provided, they even go, stimulus. More debt. Every time you hear the word stimulus, it means more debt. And this is why you have wealth insurance. Listen, I know what's going to happen. The Federal Reserve note's going away. I mean, they've circled all of our accounts. They've already done it. Right? I read to you what I now have to do with my money laundering compliance and all this other stuff, and running names against databases and attacking cash and putting all these rules into place about how you can't get to your money because it's not yours. Right? You got to look at it this way. All the investments you have, all the money that's in your bank account, that's only yours because the government allows you to have it. The second they don't allow you to have it, it's not yours anymore. You don't believe me? If you know anybody that was still alive from 1933, ask them. The money was gold and silver. What happened? They took it. What did people do about it? Nothing. Okay. And they're getting ready to do it again. Do I know the exact date? No. But I think it's a lot closer. And really, I was shocked when I started working here. We ran a budget deficit of 100, maybe 200, 400 billion was outrageous. It was inconceivable. It's going to be $2 trillion this year. $2 trillion. And I wish I could tell you it's going to level out. It's only going to get bigger. And I won't be able to do it. Maybe I will tomorrow. We'll see if I get to tomorrow. The shift is on to the electronic currencies. Make sure you have your assets protected. Proof 1 ounce gold eagles, box certs, the whole shebang, 13 1/4, 800-951-0592. Everyone take care. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll be back tomorrow.